Brazil. If this voice was not so important, for sure our enemies would not be right now trying to shut up us. And I will enjoy here the audience that we have from people from Hungary, from Greece, from Spain, from France, from other countries around here, from Portugal, Netherlands. And I will do a very quick formal documenting video, a registration about what's going in Brazil, talking some facts, talking about some names, to make sure that if you want to do a research in the future, you can Google it and see that everything that I'm talking here is not coming from my mind, but even the mainstream media in Brazil, sometimes they put in the news what I'm going to talk here. I could talk here about several cases. I would just tell you 3 or 4 about the worst things that happened in Brazil. As Congressman Biakis said, a former teacher of 71 years old, Ms. Iraci Nagoshi, who had never set a foot in the police station, being sentenced to 14 years in prison for allegedly participation in January 8 vandalism. I would like to highlight here that January 8, it was pretty much what you saw in January 6 in the United States. But the Brazilians that are now in jail, sometimes they were even not in the place where happened all of that. I have to tell you that some people that are taking out 15, 16, 7 years jail sentence, they were camped kilometers, like 8 or 9 kilometers far away from the 3 Power Square, where stays the presidents of the Republic, the Congress, and the Supreme Court. Also, Gustavo Gayer and also Biakis talked about Clériston Pereira da Cunha, nicknamed Clezão, who died in prison after waited for months to be released from prison, even with the legal opinion of the DA. So the DA said, this guy is sickness. He has a very hard sickness. He would go back to home, answer the court, but at home, not in prison, because he's going to die. And now he's dead. Isn't it a human rights crime? And Alexandre de Moraes, this Supreme Court justice, he did even not take a look in the process for months. I also could talk here about the arrest of the Congressman Daniel Silveira. This is one of the most horrible things. Sentenced by the Supreme Court to almost 9 years in jail for having made a video criticizing justice from the Supreme Court. Daniel Silveira received a presidential pardon from President Bolsonaro. Listen, this congressman was in jail. President Bolsonaro, at that time, he was president, Ms. God. He said, here's the presidential pardon. And we saw, Julia Zanata, in several cases, drug dealers, murders, all the bad kind of people receiving this kind of thing from presidents. Always they went back home. But Daniel Silveira, when Jair Bolsonaro did not get reelected, the Supreme Court overturned the presidential pardon for the first time in the history of Brazil. And now, this guy, a congressman just like me, Biakis, Gustavo Gayer, Ricardo Salles, Polon, Julia Zanata, now he's in jail because of video, okay? Because of video. There is also the journalist Alan dos Santos, who Alexandre de Moraes tried to extradite, but was refused by the American authorities, who understood that the accusations against the journalist were not crimes, but mere opinions. After this, Alexandre de Moraes canceled not only Alan dos Santos' Brazilian passport, as well as that other journalists critical of the Supreme Court, such as Paulo Figueiredo and Rodrigo Constantino. At least Paulo Figueiredo says he was never even named in the process to be able to defend himself. I know it's crazy. Né? Today, all these journalists live in the United States. So, Alexandre de Moraes canceled his passport, and he's like, what did I receive at home, like saying that I have a process in the court? Nothing. Talking about journalists, we have here a European journalist, Sérgio Tavares, who was detained in the São Paulo airport when he was arriving to cover a Brazilian protest in favor of Jair Bolsonaro. And the federal police, when detained Mr. Sérgio Tavares, asked him about vaccines, about his opinions in the Supreme Court. But coincidentally, he interviewed President Bolsonaro 2 weeks before. Is it a democracy? In your countries, do sometimes journalists go there to cover some facts and the federal police stop them in the airport? Oh, I would like to know your opinion about vaccines. What's your opinion about this justice of the Supreme Court? We are not far away from Venezuela. And it took us what? Less than 2 years? Lula da Silva administration, they have 1 year and a half now. In less than 2 years, this is my country. And it reminds me, Guy, when I talk with our Venezuelan friends, they always warned us, as very good words used here by Mr. Bouchadet. Be careful. We never imagined, Ricardo Salles, that it would happen with Venezuela, and it happened. Yesterday was Venezuela, today is happening in Brazil. Maybe tomorrow in Spain, in Netherlands, in Portugal, I don't know. In Brazil, we even have a kind of a joke, but a serious joke, saying that a crime that have the highest rate of punishment is criticizing the Supreme Court. If we go to the streets, get a pistol, a knife, whatever, and we kill someone on the streets, I guarantee to you, you will not take 15, 16, 7 years in jail. Never, ever. So this is a warning for you, and thank you very, 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 very much about the support and the help that you are doing to Brazil. Thank you.